Hello once again. We're here to make another screencasting for our fourth assignment in computer science. And again, our teacher has asked us to make a program, a simple program that has a 10 integer input from the user and store those input in an array called numR. As we can see here, our teacher devised a size variable within the array, which means that our program needs a constant, and either we define that as symbolic constant or a global constant. And as we process our array, our teacher wanted us to display how many odd numbers are there and how many even numbers are there in the array from the user inputs. And so here is the instruction of our teacher. And by the way, I already made this program earlier, and so I added the necessary functions and type the declaration possible. And so here I already included the preprocess or directives, the main function already, and the prototype function, because from now on we're going to use these two functions and already defined below here to get an integer value and a character and a function that will return character value. So this one return a integer value, get value, and this get letter return a character value. And so we don't have to do that again and again every time we make a video recording. And so let us proceed in our um, program. So first we need to define, actually our teacher taught us to make something like const in such as and size, and like so, and it equals to something 10. But I I learned earlier that we can also use something like this, and this is called a symbolic constant, and we assign that to 10. And so that's our symbolic constant. And so we go, because this is only a simple program, all the process are done in the main function. I already have two functions, so no need to define more functions than those. So the first thing we do is to declare the variables needed for our program to work. So our program need an int variables. There are three actually. R, so this one is numR. So we will change this to numR. So first we need to do numR, and we initialize this to size. We defined earlier here, and the even count variables for storing our count for the even numbers, and the odd count variables for storing how many odd numbers we have in our program. And so we also need to, I forgot to put here, we need also to define an I variable for the loop. So here I will put I variable for the loop. And lastly, we have to declare a character variable again for the whole process, because I made my program to at the end of a program, at the end of the process, it will ask a user whether he or she wanted another process or not. So this program should need a an again variable that will ask the user later on. So here it is, the variables are already defined, and the next thing we do is to initialize the variables we define. Only in my program earlier I made is that I only initialize these two variables, odd count and even count, like so. Even count equals 0 and odd count equals 0. But I also learned that these two variables could be wrapped up in a one line called variable chaining. So instead of doing this, which takes another line and which takes more processing power from the computer and more demanding, I could do just like this. So I will just chain these two variables and make them one. Actually, C programming uh, allow this kind of chaining of variables because C programming will evaluate from left to right. It is like doing something like this, and it will work all the time. It will always work. So I will be using this one as a practice also, as a good practice. This might not count in our small program here, but when we start to make bigger program, bigger projects, this will add more efficiency and speed to our code. So we will initiate. So now we will initiate the main loop that we're going to make. So the main loop is the one that I did, like so, like this, because as I told you earlier, I put all my program in a one big loop, so that e- every after every process of that loop, that loop will ask the user whether he or she wanted another process. So while again is equals to yes. So we'll make it like that. And here we will initialize the inner loop for our for loop. Initiate input loop. So input loop for this. We will ask the user 10 times to input a number. So we will make like this. So I will initialize to 0, and if I is lesser than size, and every time we do that, every loop, every after loop, the loop, we will increment 1 to I. So inside the loop, inside the main loop, inside the main first main loop we do is that we put an if else statement, because no, we don't put the if else, we put after assigning storing our variables to the array we made. So we use num_r, and we use the index from I variable, so that every time the loop runs, we step through the index as provided by the I variable. So when this becomes 1, we are stepping through the second element of the variables. But this one, the first run, we will be stepping in the first element of the variable. So we will make use of our get value function here to assign a number to the elements of the array. So get value. So we will ask the user for number. We will ask, please enter a number. And so, and after this, we will process whether number or whether the number we ask from the user is odd or even. So if num r I is equals to 0, modulo 2 is equal to 0, it means that our number is odd, like even count should be incremented. Otherwise, it should be odd that is incremented. So our input loop is finished, and we hope that when we run this program, this will ask the user 10 times for an input number, and 10 times it will calculate whether it is odd or even. And so after our main loop finished, we are now asked by our teacher to display the the odd and the even numbers. So how how many odd numbers there are and what are those, and how many even numbers there are and what are those. So first we'll make we'll make we'll display the even number. So for even number we will make another loop also. But before making loop, we will display first how many odd numbers there are, like even numbers there are. So there are percent the even numbers in your inputs. And these are, so we need to make use of the even count variable and like so. And after this, we will make a for loop to display what are those numbers. So again, we will initialize I to 0 because we use I here already, and I must have the value of 10, so we cannot use 10. Just disregard I. So we need to reinitialize I to 0. And again, we'll just copy this one here in condition, and copy this one also here. And the statement, and this statement is asking us what process are we going to do every run of the loop. And so since we are looking for even numbers, we'll just make an if statement. If this is true, this will process the inside statement of that if statement. So r num r is I modulo 2 equals to 0. If this is true, we will print that value. So print f num r I. So we will use a formatting tools here like %d, and we need to space that. Just even one space, one space I think is enough. And so this is the the process that will print how many even numbers we have and how many and what are those numbers are. So by principle, the process of displaying the odd numbers are the same. So we just copy this one, copy, and copy, and we just edit what is necessary. So these are odd, the odd there are blank odd numbers in your inputs, and we will edit this to odd count. And our loop should also look whether our number is odd. So since this one is a logic for finding an even number, so we just need to reverse this logic, and to do that we just need to change this to a exclamation point. So not equal to, which means this is not equal to, and then here is just the same. And so hopefully when this three loop runs, our program will ask the user for 10 inputs for numbers, and when the first loop finishes here, it will jump to this part, printing how many even numbers there are and what are those. And when that finishes, the process will jump to this process, printing how many odd numbers there are and what are those. And so our program basically is finished. But since we put a, a bigger loop here, a larger loop, because all of our processes are inside a larger one, which is a dual loop, we need to ask the user whether he or she wanted to do the process again. And so to do that, I am going to ask the user whether he or she wanted to do the process again. So for that, I will assign a value to again variables. So here comes in play our get letter get letter function, which asks the user, do you want do do you want another process? So like y or n. And again we need to catch the user input. If he or she inputted capital letter Y, we need to translate that to small letter, because our loop will only check for small letter Y. So we need to convert that. Other input in this for these variables is insignificant. If they input number, space, enter, or whatever, it is insignificant. The loop will not run for that input. Only for capital letter Y and small letter y. And so for that, we made sure that our program will catch that instance. And for the last part, I made a formatting, some addition here, just to format the process of our loop. So I need to add some printf and just some new lines, so that when my program fixes it, it doesn't wrap up to the second line of the whole process, because that is very ugly. So I put the line, and that's it. My program now should be working, and so let us run. For clarity's sake, let us put all odd numbers first. So 1 1, enter. 3 3, enter. 5 5, 7 7, and 9 9. So we are purposely putting five odd numbers, and let us now put five even numbers: 10, 22, 44, 66, 88, and our process is finished. And It is asking us whether we want a another process or not, and let us examine whether it is correct. So there are five even numbers in your input, see, and it is displaying correctly, and there are five odd numbers in your input, it is displaying correctly. So the process is, our program is doing what we intended it to do. And so let us try another. Let us say we just by random we put 337744 and 99. So we are putting three odd numbers, and let us put all of it, all the rest in even. Oh, I put so four. I think four odd numbers. So let us put all in even. So there are nine odd. Why is it 11? And because our loop, since clean we did not clean the previous loop in our program here, because even count and odd count already have values in this process by doing this process here, and when we do the second one, our loop just carry over the previous value of that one, and so on. So our program has a bug, and so we need to clear that bug, and so we need to clear that bug by doing this one. Reinitialize count variables. So we will reinitialize. We will just need to copy those. This one here. So again, we'll compile, and since if you see here, they are wrapping very closely, we will put also another printf for new line, just to make our like that. So hopefully this will do as we intended. So again, odd first, three odd. So all the rest we will put in even. So there are three odd and seven even numbers equaling to 10. So let us try another process. If this reinitialization of our variables is working, so we will try. Um, uh, Again, let's say only three even, and all the rest is odd. Three even and seven odd. So our program is now working properly, and the bug we see earlier is finished. And so that's it, and my program is working now, and thank you for watching and learning with me. Good morning and God bless.